Hello, everybody. This is Andriy and me again here on the channel. Andriy, welcome back to the show. You have been super active again. Tons of new updates during last month, and today we will dive into it. Okay, so we have a lot of new features here, and let's go through. We have the multilingual grid view, compact and default. And of course, first question, who is this for and how does it work?
Yes, first of all, let's start from description. So the new look is first of all oriented for project managers. Let's say you want to you got used to spreadsheets, first of all. You like Excel, how it looks, you like these columns, and um, you wanted to see even multiple languages, how they are translated. Probably apply some filters to see what strings have, what translations have QA issues. That's when this mode will be efficient. Also, an alternative use is for translators. You almost finish your work, you finish task. It can be either translation or proofreading task, and probably before you set task to done, you want to check again quickly, take a quick look whether everything looks fine, whether everything looks properly. You apply this view, and you can see how your translations look like. And I would better show you how exactly
Perfect.
it looks.
Show us where we can find this option and how to switch it.
It's the part of the editor. Yes, so you know how to switch views. Let's open any file for translation here, and then we open editor menu on the top left, view. But it's something I always forget, but there is easier way actually here. It's named Multilingual Grid. So it looks similar to multilingual view. The only difference is that here you may notice some new buttons that don't exist
Right.
in other modes. It feels, yeah, for me it feels quite different compared to even to side by side view. Let's hide right panel to make it even better. And here, what I like probably even most here is that we can um, change order of columns, because we can never know what users want to see in the column A, what should be in column B, and we allow users to adjust the order of columns. Let's say a second will be my English source. Now here at the top, because I'm a manager, so I have the access to all of my languages. Same can be for translators. If you have the access to multiple languages, you will be able to select languages that you worked on. And I selected 2 languages. Now we can again play with this order change. So here, let's place French and German next to English.
Exactly.
And here we go. So we can better see everything. First column goes context. And yes, you can see, you can also toggle off certain other columns if you don't need them. You can pin certain columns as well. So now when
Super
you scroll
useful.
to
Yeah.
the right, this column will be like frozen. Yeah,
Just laughing myself because, if you want to see German and, that you have a lot of Latin languages and, these YouTube jokes where you have all these languages like ambulance, blah, 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 and then German, Krankenwagen. Yeah,
exactly.
it's always something different. So great. This is a cool feature. We know where you can find it. It's in the panels. You have the selector. It's for project managers. When they do QA, you can leave German on the one hand side and have all the other languages on the line. It's super useful, especially for those with the same language family originals. And we can even do some editing within here with this within this view?
And what is interesting here, initially when it was just released, I thought it's a bug, but actually it's a feature. So here to start editing any string, so remember how you do this in Google Sheets or in Excel. When you select a cell, you cannot type immediately. You have to either hit enter or press any
Uh-huh.
key on your keyboard. So same here. I click on the string, nothing happens. I hit enter and it opens editing. So now I
Okay,
can
now you can.
adjust it somehow, save it. I can use shortcuts. And yeah, QA checks worked. Let's even fix it. And we save it. And here we go. So
Nice.
now that translation is saved. So it will, yeah, it's basically, it will be feel very like Excel.
Great
Wow.
feature. So the Excel lovers, here's a new feature for you in Crowdin. Excellent. Let's move on to the next one. Andriy, there's a long list of things we have on the this week, this month's new newsletter. Okay, so AI generated file context available at prompt level. Okay, briefly, what is it about and where not to use it? I think this is something we mentioned before in terms of savings of tokens.
Yes, we discussed it many times. AI likes when you provided enough context. You to get good quality, you have to provide additional context. And now we simplified the way how can this additional context it can be passed to AI because it now it's automated. I need to share my screen again.
Mhm.
Mm, Here we go. Let's open one of previously created prompts. And, uh, well, in general, it's just a checkbox. So for users, it looks like one additional checkbox that you can activate. And then every time when translation happens, the system will generate a context automatically for the file. And it will be sent to AI. Yes, important note that is also mentioned in the article is that it's not recommended to use this checkbox for projects that where you have basically same file all the time same file, but from time to time you update it. It might be some software project, for example. Mm, Sometimes these projects may be quite large, like single file may contain 10,000 keys, for example. And if we generate
No need.
uh, context every time, it will be too expensive and inefficient as well. Um,
Exactly. So the use case here, Andri, is like a help center, for example. If you have new strings across hundreds of articles of news of a help center, support center context, then it would be super good for the AI and also for the human translators to understand what this file is about, right?
Exactly. And here for these cases, when you have single file and just from time to time it's updated, we also introduced file context extractor application. Very simple.
Mhm.
Once it's installed, you go to your project and open any file. Here we have when application is installed, you get one new menu item here. When you right click on any file, you can generate a context for the file.
Mhm.
And uh, here we talk to AI as well. It usually happens pretty fast. And as a result, yes, you see,
You ran out
just in time.
of budget.
In
Can happen.
90 Um,
No
One
problem.
second, it's fixable, but yes, actually, I generated already a context earlier. I can show you quickly how it looks like, and it's passed to AI.
Exactly.
That's what I generated a bit earlier. So AI analyzes your strings and it provides cases description for the file
Hmm.
that may help AI to produce better translation because it will know what this file is about.
Exactly. So the recommendation here for all users, for all PMs who process some new strings, always check out the file context, especially when you use pre-translation through AI, so that the AI is aware of the context and the translation results should be better. Andriy, let's move on. Let's move on to the next feature, I would say. Okay, let's move to the next one. Cost estimate on task creation. This is the estimate reports have been only on a project level so far. Now, when in our day to day as project managers, we assign projects to our translators, and that is the moment where we want to understand what is the cost of a certain task. I understand this one is solved.
Exactly. Here we made it. It was solved a long time ago here in Crowdin, but we just combined few things together, and now it's first of all more convenient. So you don't need to
Mhm.
create a task, then go to reports, generate a report, and uh, we combined two features together, and as a result, we've got, let's say, like a third feature. Now reports work more closely with tasks. That's something I
Mhm.
can also show you.
Definitely, definitely.
Let's go to, we are already in projects. We have a project, we need to translate something, and we create a task because we may have many files. We need to let translators know what files they need to cover. And that's when tasks become very useful. We create a
Mhm.
translation task as usually nothing different here. And this is the new option that was added. So when we select, put this checkbox here, we can
Mhm.
select a template because you may have multiple rates. You may even have a translator specific rate. And
Right.
Crowdin allows you to create these templates. I already have my standard one. Um, Looks like this. I have the following um, rates in here, and now we can go back. We select depending because translators may be different,
Mhm.
languages may be different. So this is why we allow you to select a preferred template. And after that, we select the file that should be translated. And let's say I choose Ukrainian language and we click create button. Um, First thing is that a report is now created. What happens behind the scenes is that automatically a report generation starts, and let's open uh, this report. We have our Hive, so I think it's
Mhm.
already finished. Here we go, it's done. Report for Ukrainian is generated. So first of all, we can access a report easily from this place. We can export it like
Mhm.
usually. And what I like about this feature is that now in tasks,
Sees a value.
yes, estimated cost that was in
Mhm.
the report is now reflected on the task plate. Also here, it links task with a report, and
Right.
it becomes very useful because now you can at any time you can access this report. Um, yeah, this is localization
Directly
worlds.
on the screen.
Anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is in a new incorporation basically thought about, giving the project managers capacity to better understand the cost of each of their projects they are handing out. This is a new feature. Both Crowdin Enterprise and Crowdin.com users will find in their interface. We see it here on the screen. You will have the cost estimate. This will help you to understand what's the price of the task you are handing out to your translators or your vendors. Good. Let's move on. Next on our list. Okay, so The next on the list is better filtering for new ignored options in Crowdin apps. Andrew, what can you tell us about this new feature?
Yeah, for this feature, that's something I cannot demonstrate right now, but I will gladly explain the idea here. Um, m- for now, Storyblock connector only has got this improvement. All other connectors will get the same. It this new filtering becomes very handy for connectors that contain a lot of files. Let's say we talk about Zendesk guide article or Salesforce knowledge. Uh, you may have hundreds of files, and it's very difficult to remember what files you have already synchronized, what files you have not sent to Crowdin yet, when your files were last time updated in Salesforce. Probably you want to upload only new files to Crowdin. So with this filtering, that becomes possible. Of course,
Mhm.
possible if the third-party service allows to get this
Right.
data via API, as then connector will be able to collect these timestamps, and that's it. So then in UI, when you open the connector, you can easily do filtering by dates. You can send files that you have not sent to Crowdin yet. System will also remember what files were already synchronized to Crowdin.
Mhm.
Um, it will, first of all, it's huge time saver, I would say, and you will synchronize only updated files, but not you won't need to select all few hundred files every time and wait for 20 minutes for things to finish, but instead you can just spend a minute to synchronize few new articles. That's the main thing about the
Automation.
new feature.
Automation. It's all about automation, saving time. So this new feature, again, this is just for Storyblock right now, but other apps will roll out in the next months, according to what we can read in the newsletter. Andre, the next section is small updates. And we discussed it before. Small updates actually for me is big updates, because here are some interesting parts within this section that I personally feel like, wow, this is cool. Uh, the multi-project reporting in LQA app. This is something we talk about LQA and LQA app and how we can enable it in all the projects we want, of course, but then run reports. We did some testing before. It was still a little bit makeover, but this part, for my sense, it's super interesting. It's super useful, and hopefully will roll out as a full capacity for for in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, it's also time saver feature, and there are yes, we have many other plans for LQA. So I'm sure that we will cover LQA in details in some future sessions. There will be a lot things to share and demonstrate.
LQA is the number one priority of so many companies right now. So how to control machine translation uh, quality after the human translation post editing process. So this part will definitely come up in future episodes again. TM attribution. Who has made this one entry in my translation memory? Now we know. Andre, can you show this one?
Yeah, it's simple also, but very useful improvement. I also love it personally because when you do some debugging, when you want to find who is guilty for who did
Guilty.
this translation, yes, now it's easy because we can see that in the editor. I will open this file and here, even this one. I already did some translations beforehand, Idea is the following: that earlier there was only project name displayed, percentage of match. So here I've got perfect match, timestamp,
Mhm.
and this is this feature. We started recording this metadata quite a while ago. It's been probably a few months. Initially I thought that it will work only with some very new translations that were added like a week ago, but no, I was wrong, fortunately. And because we started storing this metadata about author, it's been a few months at least, probably
Mhm.
even more than a year. And I checked few test files, and I saw some older DM matches available. I can show you quickly here. Let's open one of these oldest other strings, and yes, you see that I have no DM matches here because I opened wrong. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, at least a
Another
month.
one.
Yes. So the feature is new, but you can see that authorship is now displayed. That we
Excellent.
have these separators, and you can see who is the author. You can then contact with this person. You can adjust translation if needed. Yeah, useful and simple.
This is, I think, a wonderful feature for all those who want to understand where a certain translation comes from. So here we go. It's another very nice additional feature. Um, the last part is the faster faster upload of files. I think this is faster AI pre-translation for larger files. You had in the briefing. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it's also something that I'm not sure how to demonstrate, but um, we we optimized a lot the code that is used to communicate with AI providers. And now these chunks, everything is built better, and we minimize the number of requests sent to AI. So that in total, all these small improvements. No, it was actually quite large improvement that developers worked on for approximately a month. Um, that should significantly boost performance, especially for larger projects. When we talk about few thousands of words, you have some documents, even multiple files, and you need to pre-translate them. If earlier you had to wait like for 40 minutes, now
Mhm.
10 minutes or even less will be enough to get
Drink a
the
coffee,
translations.
have lunch, whatever.
Yes.
Now this is over. You can upload, and you will, in a reasonable time, you will see your translations done by AI.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
now it should feel more like when you talk to a regular chat GPT, for example. You should get these responses. Yes, you know that sometimes it's not that fast. Sometimes you need to wait for a minute at least to get a translation for some longer phrase because AI needs to analyze and do this, provide this response. But yes, it hopefully people will see the difference, and we will keep getting some good positive feedback from users.
Let's see this one. In the Crowdin store updates, I found Bilingual Doc Export, a brand new app that generates bilingual doc files with source and target text in two columns. This is a typical, I sent this translation to an external reviewer, get some approval of the translation and get it back feature we know from Trados.
Yeah, we have for now it's like version one. Very, I would say it's more like a beta test, but still, yeah, it works well. And main idea is that you get uh, proper bilingual file.
Hmm.
Whenever you need it, you can get two columns like Excel Word file with two columns on output.
Which is basically what we know for those who have been in this industry for some time from Trados. They have this export import for external review feature. It is quite commonly used, I think, and it's very useful for those who are not who have people working outside of the tools, and not everybody wants to have another tool in their tech stack. So this one is a typical send it over, correct what you need, and then we can import it again. Is this already available, the import feature, or is it still only on an external review basis?
Mainly, oh, I forgot the name, but something was added for it's Excel. It will be two columns Excel with the possibility to import
Hmm.
translations for this word. Um, it's currently expert only, and I find it first of all useful for some legal documents. Let's say you work in a country where you need to have a mix of, let's say, English and German or English and Japanese in the same
Hmm.
agreement. um, it's not that simple to align these documents into columns, especially if you do not know the language. And with this approach, you get almost valid file that will um, require just. I still believe that some minor post editing will be required. You need to adjust font size, probably even change the font.
Hmm.
So some minor editing will be necessary, but it's yeah. You already don't need to do this alignment yourself at these line breaks because the system has already provides you valid bilingual file.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's remember this is software localization. Crowdin is comes from software localization, so all document type of workflows have been incorporated on the time. So this is catching up for me. I see it very useful because more and more content gets through these kind of TMS like Crowdin, and we have also this part of the export selected to XLS Excel files. It's the same direction, so you have the Word and the Excel. I think both are useful for these external processes. Uh, Andriy, this is all, isn't it? We have run through the whole update.
Yes, there were many other small tweaks, but yes, you will see that in blog post. You will see the other items,
Of
and
course.
we keep working on new features, so there will be definitely something to share next month as well.
Excellent. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, our aim is to bring you the latest of Crowdin updates and technology insights on this channel so you can see what's written in those newsletters. And hopefully, it is a little bit of a time saver for you and you enjoyed the conversation I had and I have with Andriy. Today, by the way, we have our new, my new background. This is my new studio. Andre, thanks a lot for your recommendations around cameras and all this stuff. I'm super helpful.
Thank you. Yeah.
I've also brought my themed Obi Yan t-shirt. You are here with Crowdin. Was a pleasure. Thanks a lot for being on the show again, and see you next month again with news from Crowdin.
Updates. Yes. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye bye. Take care.